Welcome back. And I hope you're having a good day. Well, tomorrow is the new release of Love People, Make Disciples. So we'll be looking a little bit into this because it is a new release. We'll give you a little glimpse into it, kind of give you our opinion on it. Now, when we're going over this information, my good wife noticed a couple of things. She noticed that Mark really kind of calls out the sisters a lot. And we're going to take a look at that. But this is not anything new, is it, to this organization? Let's take a look at a couple of other instances where the sisters seem to get called out on. Now, this is an old talk that Samuel Hurd gave. You guys may have heard this. You'll have to turn it up a little. It's a recording of a voice. And I'm just going to play it here. Here's what he said.
Scientists say that the cranial capacity of a woman is 10% smaller than that of man. So now this shows that she's just not equipped for the role of headship.
So he brought out that the cranial capacity of a woman is 10% smaller than a man, so that's why a woman's not equipped for headship. Can you imagine him saying that? A governing body member getting up and saying that. Now you wonder, do they all kind of feel that way? Well, let's take a look at another one. This next clip here is thanks to XJW Panda Tower. Here it is.
We're not a democracy. We're a theocracy. And this sister wouldn't shut up. She just would not shut up. She had her mouth on when I think you're an idiot. You're boring. Oh, yes, we do, honey. Oh, my word. See how wise Jehovah is?
It seems like every
Shit, I forgot my mic off. So the governing body members, they just hoop themselves every time. You know, they get up in front of people and they just start spouting off about women. Okay, so now we're going to get into the annual meeting, 2023 annual meeting. We're going to look at Mark Sanderson. And the information that we have here today is from Avoid JW. And you can go there and get the whole story in hard print. We're going to take a bit here and take a look at it. But first of all, we're going to look at this guy here, Mark Sanderson. And let's see what he says about women. There, we're just playing from here. Right about here, he starts giving a story. So Mark starts giving a story about when he was a pioneer. He started pioneering. I don't know how young he was, but have you ever been out in the ministry with, let's say, an elder or a pioneer, someone with special privileges, like a circuit overseer or someone like that, and you go to the door and you just freeze up? Like, that's common, right? And he gives it as he was pioneering, when he was pioneering. And here Mark is, I don't think he's ever been married. You know, he's in his 50s, late 50s maybe. But the guy's never been married, but yet in this particular video, he has a lot to say about the women, the sisters. So let's see what he says about the sisters here when he was pioneering.
As we were going to the door, you know, she was actually mouthing her presentation. She had it perfectly memorized. And suddenly, this woman came to the door. She opened the door, and here she was, beautiful older lady, hair done, makeup on, beautifully dressed, looking like she was just going out. And the sister was so flustered, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, did we get you out of bed?" Yeah, memorize presentations. Not always good. Well, maybe we...
So he makes fun of the sister. Him and his sister were going to the door. And the lady comes to the door all made up, looks like she's ready to go out. And the sister was, she has a memorized presentation. That's what a lot would use. That's what the Watchtower recommended, was scripting these presentations. They had books of them. And so lots of people would try to script these presentations to memory. And of course, she's with this pioneer. He's not married, whatever, but he's another brother, and she froze up. So he takes this many years later, he remembers this, and makes fun of it now. Why? Why is he making fun of the sisters? Because he used scripted presentations, and this whole new book that they're going to present is for the women. They called the women a large army because of one scripture. And all the other Bibles I read say the women are hosts, calls them hosts. So, but the JW Bible calls them a large army. So they classify women as this large army of ministers out in the ministry. And so now they have this brochure. We're going to look at it. And according to Mark, this is for the sisters. Let's take a look at this as he talks about this. I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to slow it down here, just so we can really see what he's trying to say here. Yeah. Look at his facial expressions.
Beautifully dressed, looking like she was just going out. The sister was so flustered, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, did we get you out of bed?"
Look at that. Look at his face, eh? You know, everyone's laughing at the expense of this sister many years ago. And his faces he puts out, eh? And then he goes like this.
Yeah, memorize presentations. Not always good.
Yeah, he doesn't like memorized presentations. So he's given his own personal experience. You know, he could have used a brother. He could have used himself. He could have said, you know, many years ago I went to the door and I had this memorized presentation, and the blah, blah, blah lady comes to the door all dressed up, and I froze. And I said, did you just wake up, you know? Like, he could have used himself, but no, the sisters. So let's go to another one and see what he does. He goes through here, talks about a bunch of illustrations, explains this new publication here. We're going to look at this in the next video, and it's designed for the sisters, because he tells us over here. Where are we? Right over here. I think right about here.
Testimony card, of course, didn't say anything. Man started to read it. Suddenly his wife called out.
So this is another illustration.
My mother loved to tell the story about being in the service with her pioneer partner. The door opened, she handed the man the testimony card. Of course, didn't say anything. Man started to read it. Suddenly his wife called out, "Who's at the door?" The man said, "I don't know, there's two deaf women here and I'm trying to figure out what they want."
So back in the day, they didn't really have presentations. They had plaque cards and testimonial cards, so they handed in the testimonial cards. And of course the guy says, "I don't know, they're deaf. They handed me a card." It was kind of funny. But he could have used the illustration with brothers, but no, these two sisters. And I guess they didn't talk. I don't know. Let's just listen to that again.
Testimony card, of course, didn't say anything. So zealous in the ministry. They went out with phonographs and testimony cards. But of course, at that time, they didn't speak. Either the record did the speaking or people read the card. My mother loved to tell the story about being in the service with her pioneer partner. The door opened, she handed the man the testimony card. Of course, didn't say anything. Man started to read it. Suddenly his wife called out, "Who's at the door?" The man said, "I don't know, there's two deaf women here and I'm trying to figure out what they want."
Two deaf women. Could have said two deaf brothers, two deaf men. You could have used anything there, but it had to be two deaf women. That was just some points my good wife picked up. So we're going to get into what are they really promoting here. This is a little video here. I'll put this on full screen for you. Oh, we'll just run through it here. It's just nothing serious.
This new publication, Love People, Make Disciples, is being made available in both print and digital formats in over 400 languages. How is the brochure designed to help us show love for people we meet? Unlike the tools we've used in the past, this new brochure does not give us expressions to memorize, nor does it put the emphasis on leaving literature. Rather, it features 12 lessons that focus on qualities we need to cultivate to make disciples. All the lessons are based on Bible accounts in which Jesus or another first-century evangelizer displayed a specific quality in the ministry. The lessons will help us see how we can imitate the qualities they demonstrated as we make disciples. Each lesson contains a video that brings the account to life. A woman of Samaria came to draw water.
Give me a drink.
By cultivating an interest.
So what this really is a sales tool. We're at a minute 19. We're going to go right to the front here. And we're going to take a look at this in some more detail, but it's a sales tool for each of the salespeople. And it's a sales tool that's designed to teach all of the salespeople in the organization how to sell the product. What's the product? Well, the product is jw.org. The product is to get the person hooked into the website if internet's available. In the United States, 98% or 92% of the households have internet. So internet is all over. Elderly people, younger people, everyone's on the internet. JW.org is making movies. They're in the movie production business, and this is how they're going to pull members in. And when you pull members in, and once you get members dedicated and committed, they are like robots. They will give everything that they have to the organization. And they become a clone of the organization. So this is how they're making a clone. This is how they don't want people remembering scripts anymore. So here's a tool that's going to teach them how to be natural, how to be kind, how to be humble, and it's going to teach people how to be good salespeople, is what this tool is all about. So we're going to go back to it. I'm going to get off the screen, let you watch this. But think of it like a sales tool to help the salespeople out in the organization. Nothing worse than having a salesperson come to your door and not really knowing much about what they're selling. So if you can come to the door and really it's natural and you naturally know what you're selling, that can make a big difference with the presentation and where it goes next. And especially if you believe in it. Believing in what you sell is the utmost important. So, of course, this is for the members that are baptized, that believe in it, that believe wholeheartedly that they are being directed by God. They don't believe themselves as salespeople. They believe that they're God's instruments, and God is teaching them how to better impart God's word. And they will call that Jehovah. So how do they bring Jehovah in? Well, Jehovah equals the watchtower. So they bring people into the website. And there's not a lot of Bible going on anymore in this religion. I notice everyone has tablets and everyone's getting people just into the websites. So let's take a look at this and I'll let you watch the rest of the video.
By cultivating an interest in people, we can talk about things that are on their minds. What truths might we share with people once a conversation is started? Appendix A highlights basic Bible truths that we'd love to teach. Make it your goal to learn these basic truths and the scriptures that support them. If you do, you will be more effective in starting conversations and in making disciples. For example, a conversation can be started by asking a simple question, such as, "Have you heard that God will soon end all suffering?" Or, "Did you know that the Earth's environment will be restored?" Sharing a simple truth at the right time is powerful. Jesus said his sheep would listen to his voice. In other words, rightly disposed ones will recognize the truth when they hear it expressed simply. Appendix B helps us to determine whether to continue a conversation. Appendix C provides practical suggestions on how to conduct Bible studies and enjoy life forever. What if you don't feel comfortable starting conversations? Don't worry. Beginning in January 2024, the Apply Yourself portion of each midweek meeting will help us to practice the points we are learning in this new brochure. The meeting will no longer focus on presenting a predetermined topic and scripture. Rather, students will select topics for their assignments that they know are on the minds of those in their community. By means of realistic demonstrations, audience discussions, and talks, our meetings will assist us to develop skills that will help us start conversations naturally and adapt to each person's concerns and needs. By focusing on people, we will become more comfortable and more effective as we make disciples. As you consider each lesson, think carefully about how you can demonstrate the highlighted qualities when conversing with people in your community. Ask yourself, what are their concerns and needs? As you go about your activities, be observant. Look for appropriate opportunities to help people in practical ways. Acts of kindness can open the door to share kingdom truth. Show that you care by listening to others when they express themselves. Share a simple truth at the right time. Remember, our goal is not to memorize a presentation, but to demonstrate Christ-like love to everyone we meet. This will require patience, perseverance, and commitment. No matter where we live or under what circumstances we are preaching, simply showing love will help us to find joy in our ministry. More than any specific...
So some of the points that they're bringing, and just like any other sales pitch that you'd get from any business, you need your perseverance. You need to be patient when you're landing a sale. You notice a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses end up in the sales business, the sales industry, because we were trained to be salespeople. I got into door-to-door sales when I started out, when I was young. And I got into the sales business because I was basically in the sales business for the Watchtower. So I was being trained at that time. But now they're training people a bit different. They want people to be more natural, and they want them to be patient because it takes a lot of work. You see, if you were selling pots and pans or something like that, and you had to get into a person's house to display pots and pans, you only have one sale. You're going to sell pots and pans, and then you go away, and maybe your pots and pans have a lifetime guarantee or something, and you go away, that's all you get. But with the Watchtower, you get in there, you get their hearts, you get their commitment, and you have them for life. And there's a continual flow of money. The Watchtower's sales force, they don't have to pay for it. Everyone works for free. Everyone believes that they're doing God's work, but they're doing Jehovah's work, which Jehovah equals the Watchtower. So they're doing Jehovah's work, they're doing the Watchtower's work, and they're helping the Watchtower to gain more members. So the goal is to get into the house with the householder, whether you're out in the lawn talking to the person, whether you're in the bus going to work, or wherever you are. You have your phone, your smartphone, you can show them little videos. And this brochure, this new sales training tool, it's a people training tool to train the sales force. They're going to be covering it in great depth. So they're releasing it tomorrow, and then they're going to cover it in great depth during the weekly studies. And they have it all broken out. They're going to cover this over the course of the year, and they're going to become experts at everything in this little brochure. So we're going to move over to what the brochure looks like. I'm going to move you into a different screen here. And I think we're going to move, yeah, right here. So the brochure, the inside of the brochure, this is what it looks like. There's a little, I'm just going to make myself a little smaller here. And there we go. So there's a letter in there from the governing body, love for God, for people, motivates us to go, ... and make disciples of people of all the nations, baptizing them. So they cherry pick in the scriptures. Go, ... means there's a bunch of other words in the verse there, but they left them out. They just wanted to go and make disciples of people. That's how tricky Watchtower is with their wording. They do that all the time. They say in the past we focused on memorizing presentations and on leaving literature. They left out, they did this for the sisters, but they did that. They memorized things. The brochure has 12 lessons, and if you consider each lesson, think carefully about how you can demonstrate them when speaking to people in your community. So it's a sales training tool for the congregates, for the ones that are going out in the ministry. And they've made it easy for the ministry. You don't have to count time anymore. You just check a box. And now they're really trying to make this easy for people to do the ministry by giving them this sales training tool. So number 1, you're going to learn how to have an interest in people, what Jesus did. Number 2, you're going to learn naturalness, how to be natural about it, not to be like a canned presentation. We've seen Mark Sanderson. He really didn't like how the sister had these canned presentations, and mentioned it twice about women. And he really wants to help the women out with this to be more natural. Now, number 3, he's talking about kindness, what Jesus did. They're using Jesus here a lot. Humility. This is another one. I think, they're saying imitate Paul here. So they go back and forth with Jesus and Paul. Number 5, tact, imitate Paul. I didn't think Paul was that tactful, but I thought he was pretty abrupt. But anyways, they're going to use Paul here. And number 6, boldness, imitate Jesus. Well, Jesus was certainly bold, going into the temple. They didn't show that part, but he went and turned the money tables over. It took a lot of boldness. Perseverance, imitate Paul. When you're selling something, you got to persevere. Don't give up. You're going to sell this person's life. It's not a lifetime warranty. It's life. Paradise Earth. It's like a lifetime warranty, like pots and pans. So number 8, patience. You got to be patient with your sale, because it takes time to get in there and to convince people. You got to be patient. You got to imitate Jesus. You got to try different approaches. Do not compare, and pray about the interested person. So keep it on your mind. You get a return visit. You pray about it. You think about it. And you try different approaches. Patience. 9 is empathy. Imitate Jesus. Listen carefully. Think about the interested person. Share the information that addresses his needs. So when you're selling a product to a person, here we're selling everlasting life on Paradise Earth. So we want to listen to them carefully, and we want to think about the interested person. It says share information that addresses his needs. So what they want to do is get that person into the website, for sure. Number 10, commitment. Imitate Jesus. Number 11, simplicity. Imitate Jesus. Number 12, courage. Who are they imitating here? Imitate Jesus. Courage. And then they summarize it right at the end. Truths we love to teach. So a really simple brochure. How to sell the business, JW.org. No, how to conduct Bible studies using Enjoy Life Forever. So Enjoy Life Forever? That's old, right? Old book. That's how we used to do it, but maybe that's something else. Not sure. So we'll look through that as this comes out. This is being rolled out tomorrow, so that gives you guys a little glimpse into what you're going to see in that surprise box. So 2023, love people and make disciples. It's certainly a good sales pitch, but I think, put your opinions in. I think it was put out for the women. I think he made it for the sisters, Mark Sanderson. And it seems like they pick on the sisters a lot when it comes to the ministry. They use them as examples all the time. So I think it's time that they should start using themselves as examples, or use the brothers a bit. Spread the wealth around. Anyways, that's just my opinion. So folks, until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now. Oh, hello. My name is Vern. Join the channel. We cover JW World News, and we give you the rest of the story. Today, we're going to the Watchtower, and we have lives on Tuesday nights and Saturdays, and an excellent community. So join the channel and watch as we crash into the Watchtower. Here it is. I see it coming. Woo! Join us as we report in on the Watchtower.